What I would want to say is that I think it's not, for us to say whether these countries can allow us to industrialize or not. It all depends on Africa. I think let's take advantage of the opportunities that exist. And one way to do it is to say, let's focus on our own internal market initially. If you look at Africa, with a population of close to 1 billion, and of course the middle class, growing. If you look at the recent demographic, trends, one would say that indeed we could also industrialize by focusing on our own internal market. But you see, for this to happen, a number of things would have to be done. You're looking at ensuring that you have free movement of goods, through movement of people. These must be implemented and realized within the continent. The issues of monetary integration, to facilitate movement of goods. This will also be important. There is also this decision to create this continental free trade area. I think if we implement that, indeed we will meet some of the conditions that will be required for promoting trade within the continent, and therefore we should actually be able to promote industrial development. Now, but of course, looking at the internal market alone would not suffice. I talked about the internal markets, mainly because what we'll be producing is what our countries are also having to import, let's say from China and the West. So in that case, then they import from themselves if they produce them here locally. But then I was saying, for us to be able to go and exploit the other markets, again, it's a question of how we make ourselves competitive. Because if we're going to produce things in Malawi, or rather in Africa, these are the same things that are being produced, let's say, in China. Clearly, the raw materials are having to be moved to China, but then in here, we don't have to move them that far distance, which means that obviously we can also reduce costs. If you're looking at infrastructure, and we don't have the infrastructure bottlenecks, the energy is reliable, it should actually be possible to be competitive. And if we are competitive, we have the capacity, then we can easily penetrate these European markets, we can easily penetrate the Chinese market, but we have to do a lot of work. So I think the question really is not whether they can allow us or not, but what is it that we can do to promote trade, but also to make sure that we produce competitively so as to penetrate their markets.
I was just wondering though, if this sort of, with this kind of idea, would these businesses or industries that would exist be owned by Africans, or they'll be foreign investors? If they want to leave, they leave, and then the infrastructure stay behind. Africans perhaps don't know how to manage it because they don't own it. Is that not a challenge?
You see, we are looking at both domestic investment, but also, foreign investment. So it's not purely African. We also need to look at how we can facilitate this investment by putting in place appropriate policies. In certain instances, we may, have to, look at how governments actually facilitate, this. So we need to ensure that our investment climate is conducive for both the participation of domestic, actors, but also foreign, actors.
Thank you very much, Mr. Commissioner.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.